I'm going to start recording the meetup now. So, hey everybody, this is Donnie from OpenStack Central Florida. We got a couple of stackers who are on the line today, so Michael and Justin are with us. And what we're going to do is we are going to complete the installation of the OpenStack dashboard, and it will actually make our cloud production ready. So we'll be able to actually let people start consuming cloud resources after we do this. The install should be relatively simple, but Michael made some really good suggestions about how we should organize. And one of the suggestions that Michael made was to use Trello for the organization. So I've been playing around with Trello for a little bit of the day, and what I realized with Trello is, and I've seen it before, but what I realized with Trello is essentially it gives you swim lanes, and it's very much like a Kanban board. So you get to set up little cards, you can move the cards from one swim lane to another, you can assign them. It's kind of like, you know, a perfect Kanban, little Kanban system. So what we have on the, and I apologize for the background noise, but what we have on the Kanban board is that some pre-education stuff. There is a link on what it takes to review the admin guide for Liberty. So after we have this up and running, we can actually go through and we can actually configure it. So that's the admin guide. There's also here installation guide for Horizon Liberty CentOS 7, which is what we're actually going to be using. We are going to try and do the encryption for Apache as well. So Luke was cool enough to shoot us a link to an open source tool called Let's Encrypt. And Let's Encrypt is a certificate authority that gives away free certificates. You just have to renew them every 60 to 90 days. And then they have what's called an auto-enrollment certificate tool for Linux. So I knew they had this for the Windows world. It's built into Windows, but they now have a client specifically for the Linux world. They have a bunch of clients, but the client we're going to use is going to be called CertBot. So CertBot should allow us to actually pull this certificate from Let's Encrypt, and it should renew it on a regular basis without us having to write some type of cron job to go out and pull it every 60 to 90 days. So that's the pre-education stuff. We're going to leave this Trello up here, and the hopes is that we'll be able to complete everything. In terms of the things that we have to do for the install Horizon queue, the lane for that, we have to get credentials. So the credentials is sitting on the machine. We're just going to have to source those credentials, and I have to check to make sure we have the credentials. We're going to file the installation guide to install Horizon. They're like maybe 4 commands at most. I think it's 3 to 4 commands till it's installed. Then we're going to install the auto enrollment tool, which is the CertBot. Then we'll configure the Horizon components. And then we'll validate it's installed correctly. And we'll try to do the SSL as well. We'll try to pull down the SSL and apply the SSL to it. And then from that particular point, it will just be an issue of validating. So as we complete each one of these tasks, we're going to move it over into the swim lane that shows that we're actually doing it. So any questions on the Trello or any suggestions on the Trello? This is the first time I'm using Trello, so any suggestions on how we should set this up? Michael, I'm looking at you, buddy. And Michael's quiet. You there?
Yes, I was in mute. Okay, only for Trello, I mean, you use it's called Trello in English. Okay, so the idea with Trello is to have a Kanban or a way to differentiate between progress and complete and to-do. Okay, so I saw the board that you did, and it's pretty good. One thing is that you can make checklists tasks. So imagine if we are going to install, we can put some checklist for each task and all the steps for completion before before to move it to a progress, to a complete or progress or whatever. Okay, that's one thing.
So you think we should put the steps, the commands that we're actually going to run, each command that we're going to run in the Trello session?
Not really. We can put it there, and then we can move it to a BCS, to a Git or GitHub, and then push it to GitHub to have the installation script in another place. You know, this is like my idea with Trello is to have like an overview of what we are going to do and the progress, and you can assign tasks to some people if you want to.
Right. Yep. I wasn't seeing how they actually connect. I wasn't seeing. I know you can assign tasks to people when you click on something. So for those people who are watching it, if we click on this, we can see that we can add members. We can change the colors for the labels, checklist, due date, and then we can actually assign it. Where's the assignment button? I think it would be down here. If it was down here, I think it happens once we have people in the team, where we could actually assign them from this side of the screen. That's what lets us do the assignments.
Okay.
Yeah. Let's see, share more. Give me a second.
So that's a basic of Trello. Now GitLab has the same. I think GitHub has the same too, the same functionality, but it works with issues. So each time you want to create a task, you create a new issue, and this issue is going to be assigned to someone. You know, it works pretty much the same. So the only thing that I don't recommend to do in Trello is to put comments in there, because you cannot download the comments from Trello to put it somewhere.
Oh, really? You can't pull the comments out.
No, you can, unless you do unless you make a request, take the JSON, and then process the JSON to obtain the comments. But I haven't checked indeed if that functionality or there's a tool to get it, but it's pretty much a mess, you know. So that's why that I recommend to maintain only an overview of the things that what we are going to do in the deployment, or maybe we can put tasks for each week. Okay, so maybe you put pre-education for I don't know, for a deployment for this week or this month. So everyone is checking for something, and then we progress a little by little during the month. You know, that would be.
That's a good idea. So we can, I got what you're saying. So we could actually use it for more complex projects, and then break them up and assign the tasks so that everyone's contributing, and we can see how the group's progressing towards the goal. That's pretty cool.
Exactly that. Yeah.
Yep, that's cool. So let's jump into this one. So this is the so credentials. We should have the credentials. So let me just check to make sure we have the credentials. So I'm going to look now and make sure we have credentials for this. I'm on the controller. Michael, we have to give you access to the cloud. So you need. Can you send me a either you can put it in a private Slack channel to me, I should say inbox me in Slack with your public key, and what I'll do is that I'll place it on the cloud server so you can have access to it. All right. And for those who should be, everyone else who's on the session has access, and I'll switch to my screen so you can see it. Maybe that would probably be the best thing. So let me. Oh, I know I can't see anything. I'm just logging into root. Okay. There we go. Okay, so what you can see is that I just logged in, and I'm on the task machine. So our first task was to actually was to actually make sure that we have the passwords for it. So you can see we have a passwords file. So I'll clear here. Right. You can see what I've done is that I've logged in to the controller. I upgraded my permissions. I SU to root. So I'm in his root. And what I did is I did a CD to my home directory, the LS of my home directory, and you can see that there's a file that's called passwords there. So that's my passwords file. Let's just cat the passwords file. And we have a actual file for, so let's see, Salameter, Cinder, dash is db pass. That's the dashboard. Okay, so this is the password for the dashboard. Keys down metadata secret. So that's the dashboard db pass. So that's what that's going to be. I'm wondering if we need any other passwords. Anyway, we have that. I believe the command is to source the passwords, if I'm not mistaken, so that we can use that. So I just source the passwords file. So we have that to use. Let me go over here. And let me switch back. So we should be good. I'll just switch back to my other screen. Okie dokie. So now we're back over here. So it looks like we're good for the passwords. Let's pop over to the installation guide. And let's see what we have in the installation guide. So at the dashboard, we have to install and configure components, verify operations, and next steps. So let's click on install and configure components. Let me just push this up top. So the first command that we need to do is a yum install OpenStack dashboard. And I'll just take this to make my life easy, and I'll push it into the chat. Then once we have that done, we're going to need
Donnie,
to...
I reached my destination, man, so good luck. I'll catch up with you later.
All right, cool, bro. I'll talk to you later.
Later.
All right. So after we've done that, we're going to go into Etsy, OpenStack dashboard local settings. We're on the controller node, which is the main node. So we're going to set the OpenStack. We're going to go and edit the file called OpenStack _ host controller. We'll look for this allowed host. And then we'll configure memcache. I'm hoping that memcache is set up for us. So fingers crossed that this is going to actually work correctly. I'm hoping that memcache is stored. And then we'll follow these other steps that are in here, and we'll finalize installation. So that being said, let's jump over. Okay, so we'll make me the presenter. Okay, so let's do this. So first thing we're going to do is install OpenStack --. So we just accept it. So it's installing. All right. Let's do a yum install update. Nothing to do, so we're cool. All right. So the next thing we need to do is we need to look at the Etsy OpenStack dashboard file. So let's cd to Etsy. What do you mean there's no such? Okay. Okay, we're cding to the OpenStack dashboard, which is off of Etsy. All right, let's just clear this up so we can see. All right, so now that we're here, let's do an ls of this directory. Let's see everything that's in it. Let's just make sure I push this up here because I can't see anything. So in this directory, we have a Salamandra policy, a glance policy, a keystone policy, a neutron policy, a cinder policy, a heap policy, local settings. We are looking for the local settings file, which is this right here. So this is what we need to modify. So let's modify that now. Let's VIM against that. I'm pretty sure VI it. All right. So let's look at this. So this is definitely Python. Import OS. The Django Utils import. Yep, Python. So let's see what we're looking for. We're looking for an OpenStack host. So let's go through this. Logging. So I am not seeing OpenStack host anywhere. Let's go back up to the top. True.
I don't want to do this. I don't want to do what the mother told me to do. You know, that's the wrong way. Why? Exactly.
Endpoints.
What's the logic?
OpenStack image backend. That's clearly Neutron. OpenStack hypervisor features. So this just has everything in it. OpenStack Keystone. OpenStack. There goes OpenStack host. So we see the file is called OpenStack host, and that's it. So that's the file we're looking for. So this file right here, OpenStack _ host, is what we're looking for. So here it goes. OpenStack host equals 127.0.0.1. That's the loopback address. So we need to change that to the name of this machine, which is controller. Let's just check. So here we are in the Horizon settings. Let's make sure. So this is the first time I'm seeing the Horizon stuff. OpenStack host, web root. So we're back up to the top of the file. So let's look at these. So debug false, template debug false, web root, login redirect, Horizon config user home if user is not set. Apply for the Django 1.5. I don't believe we're using the Django 1.5. This allowed host file that is right here. We're going to edit this at some point. I don't want to edit it now. I want to go and order the docs, but we're going to edit that allow host file. Let's see what else. If Horizon is being secured through SSL, we will want to secure it through SSL, but that will be a later stage, so we'll come back. Console type, Horizon config validator. That's a regex, so we can clearly probably set up a regex that will actually go and look at the passwords and make sure that we can enforce a particular password property. Can turn off browser auto completion. I actually think we want to turn on auto completion. Revoke for password buttons. Set a custom secret key. We can see the secret key is already set. We recommend you use memcache for development. Otherwise, after every reload of the Django, you'll have to log in again. So we use memcache. That's another configuration step. Let's keep going back to where we were before. And here we are. So the first thing we're going to make a change to is OpenStack host. So let's do this now. So insert. So there we go. We made that to controller. And that's the name of our computer, so our computer should be good. Let's just delete that so it's nice and clean. And let's do this. I want to make sure, I want to go back to our directions and make sure we have the right thing in directions. So give me a second. Just go right here. So there we go. So this is the steps we followed so far. So we can see that that is our controller node, and then we're going to go to allowed host. So let me just copy that. So we have controller in. Let's fill up.
Like what? I'm not noticing, but some of the people like
Here's a lot of host files here.
they say like they're not saying like, oh, all these people are stupid, but they're saying like racist things, but they don't know it, and they know, and they're trying to do all different types of people that have nothing against them. But
So
they're
now we
like they're
have.
saying these things, and they have no idea what they're talking about. See, that's the thing. That's a great example. I don't think they care.
So let's go host file. So now we're looking at configure the memcache. Now I don't know if we have memcache running on our machine. So I think what we probably need to do is to look and see if we have memcache. Let's write this. Oops, we have to go through and modify that. Our host name is controller1 and not controller, so that wouldn't have worked. Ooh, let me just go back in there and modify that. Okay, so now we got it right. We got that as controller1. Now we got to see if we have memcache installed on this. All right, so we do not have memcache installed on here. So now we're going to actually have to install memcache, so give me a second. Over to a browser.
I've never heard them say this. And I know it's a pattern because most of these people are going to doctors. No, like, I never, like, this started happening, like, once the election started happening, this was, like, because I never heard these people say anything like that before that election. So, yeah, so I'm probably thinking, like, oh, stuff. So then they're talking. Yeah, and the parents are really.
So here is the key.
Now, the figures, it's not until the followers are either like they start noticing things, or until they know that they're intending changes, then that thinking thing kicks in for like a second, and then it leaves. But if people are noticing how like, oh, they're just people just following this dude because he's crazy, and they're like, oh wow, I never knew that this and this happened. Once it's over, it's probably going to go back. They're going to go up to the fingers. They're going to go up to the fingers like, okay, so I know they do this and this. And then we'll go from there. The fingers will have the followers when they just go to the head.
Okay, so that's already installed.
Like when you try to explain stuff or anything, so that's the point. It's easy to understand if you think a lot, but it's so confusing to understand it's like, wow. Why?
Okay, so we just enabled memcache service, so that's cool. Let's just see what's going on here.
That's why you don't. That's why when you say those people are stupid, they're not stupid. They don't know.
What, you know, what, and the funny thing about this is like my friend, like he, like, if you were to, like the person I know, Gabriel, he seems like, how to explain, he seems like very, well, he's open-minded, but he's also like, you know, those Christians, so he's not totally Christian, but like, so kind of like, he strongly believes in Christianity, and he's still a follower of that. So basically, But anyway, so basically, like,
Okay, give me a second. This is not the Apache service for that.
and then you say, I believe in God, and go to heaven. And I'm like, but dude, that's the exact same thing that happens in Christianity. You thought about that for a minute. So you're just saying something back it up because you knew he was wrong.
Because he's not a thinker. Look, he's not a thinker because if he was a thinker, he would be able to put those two things together. He would be able to analyze his.
So we're up and running with our memcache. Let's go to this, configure memcache session storage service. Let's go to caches, go back to the file.
Politicians are just followers and think they know.
Yeah.
Right, some of them, like I said, some of them get to the point where they are thinkers and they are, you know, able to rule and control people, but they decide to be helpers. It's when you get to that point, you have to decide, as they are moving, you have to decide whether you're going to use this ability to think to help or to control it, you know, for your own good. How are you going to use this thinking ability? How are you going to use this power? Because the ability to think and analyze and be wise is powerful. Yeah. It's a gift. It's a gift that, or a talent that you develop. And anybody can develop. You get to choose at some point.
I hate it when
Okay, so we're looking for caches now.
because my thinker becomes so I can't explain it. Like when they believe something,
Allow
I
hosting,
think it's like a side thing to think.
versions,
Like the head group, the thinkers, and then the followers. So, you know,
Horizon
it's a side
config,
thing. You know how there's people who are you can tell that
looking for memcache storage. So maybe I should do this.
like so messed up. It's like you're just stupid.
It's not it's always something.
And they always they say five certain things, which is true. You should define certain things that are taught. They look like they so logically everything is a lie.
Here we go. So we recommend use memcache for development, otherwise every reload. So this is the file. All right, good. So here we are. We got the file. And we have caches, default, backend, Django backend, and we need to uncomment this out. That would kind of help, wouldn't it? So let's uncomment that out. Let's uncomment that out. Uncomment that out. Uncomment that out. And uncomment that out. All right, cool. So cache is equals defaults, backend, the Django core, cache backend, memcache, comma, that's perfect. And then we can come down to the next line and we can put our IP address in, the name of our user, I should say, I'm sorry, the name of our host. Our host is controller 1. Good. So we've satisfied that piece. So this is to comment out any other storage configuration. That's kind of interesting. So let's comment this out then, since it says to comment out anything else. So we'll come here and we will comment this out. Comment that out. Comment that out. Comment that out.
So we'll go back like corruption again until someone else fixes it.
Okay.
But the thing is, you want, this doesn't sound like this. Everything is.
All right, let's go back to see what's next. We're going to have to go back in that VI session. I just came out of it because I wanted to not mess anything up. So we did this. We just went to the memcached section. We entered that in. We commented out any of the sessions. That's what we just finished doing. Now we're going to come up and we're going to configure user as the default role of users that you create in the dashboard. So this is the next piece of it, and let's jump in here. Okay, so let's see. What should we be looking for first? We should be looking for OpenStack Keystone default role. So let's come back in here. So there we go. We have our OpenStack Keystone right underneath the controller we were in before. So let's get back into edit mode. I'm having a lag here. I'm not sure why. Okay, so user, we're good to go. Let's see if I made any typos there. So nope, that's the role equals user. Now we're looking for this, which is OpenStack multi-domain support, and we want that to be true. Okay. So there we go. It looks like it picked it up. Let's just come back here and look. Keystack, OpenStack, Keystack multi-domain support. I'll comment this out. I got to put insert in there. And out. True. All right. What's next in our list of stuff to do is we meander through here, Next, we're looking for OpenStack API versions. There we go. So right there at the top. So we'll go back to insert. We'll pull that out. We'll pull that out. Pull that out. Pull that out. Pull that out. So now we're using that. So OpenStack API versions, data processing 1.1, identity 3, volume is 2. So the way it looks is that they want us to get rid of this data processing. Well, I don't think we need to get rid of data processing. I'm going to leave it there because the identity just needs to be 3. If we look at the docs, boom, look at that. It just needs the identity to be 3. So we won't remove that other setting. There clearly must have been an update to the docs since then because this is different than what we're looking at, right? So we have that. Alrighty. So let's go back to our docs and see where we are in our next phase. Now we want to look for, if you choose networking option 1, disable support for layer 3 networking services. So we're not using layer 3 networking services. So this is what we need to find. And we are going to, we're going to configure just like that. So look really good to what that is. And we will go over and make the changes. Okay, so here we are. Go back to our insert. Come down here and see what we got to do. So enable router needs to be false. Enable quotas true. We need to, I guess if you're option 1, choose to disable layer 3 networking. IPv6, HA false, enable load balancing false, enable firewall false. Enable VPN, false. That kind of sucks. We're like disabling all like the cool stuff. Enable FIP topology check, false. So enable router is false. Enable quota is supposed to be false as well. Enable, now I don't see this. This is interesting too. Check this out. If you look at what our options here, we have an option for enable IPv6, which is set to true. Check this out. If we go to our docs are failing us. Look at the options that our docs have. Enable router equals false. So maybe the ellipses will tell us that there's, maybe these 3 ellipses will tell us that there's things that go before this. So we have router, we have quotas, distributed router, HA router, load balancing, the firewall, VPN, and FIP topology check. So if we go into here, we have, it starts with routers. So I don't know why they have ellipses. There's nothing that comes before routers. Then they have quotas. Then they have IPv6. So IPv6 isn't even showing up. I'm a little bit suspect here because IPv6 isn't even showing up in here. Look at that. It's not even in here. It's all good. So fingers crossed. We're just going to follow what we're told to do. So we're going to follow what we're told to do. It's configured the way they asked us to configure it. Everything is set up for false except for IPv6. And the reason why everything is set up for false because these are all networking 3 services. And we're running any of the networking 3 functionality for our cloud. All of our networking is basically just manual. So the next thing they have in this, I think we're done. It says optionally configure the time zone. And it says replace the time zone with the appropriate zone identifier. Let's see what our list of times is. So open link in new tab. Let's see what these time zone choices are. So time zones. I am not going to touch this. What do you say, Michael? Do we touch this or do we leave it alone? What do you feeling here?
No, keep it in UTC, you know, in the default one, because in that way you standardize all the log files. So yeah.
Okay, so we're not going to touch it.
Just
So
don't touch
I'm
it.
glad you said that because I had no intention of touching this thing. All right, so let's save this configuration. All right. I wonder if I can cat this, if it will look okay if I cat it, and we can just check through it. It doesn't look too bad when we cat it. Let's look through it. So let's just make sure. How come this file looks much bigger when we cat it than it did when we put everything in? Why is that? Okay, it looks way bigger. Okay, here it goes. That's where we started. So let's just go look and see what we got here. So we were supposed to make a change. So, we should be looking for OpenStack hosts. So let's look at this. Django, OpenStack import. We didn't mess with this web root at all here. Allowed hosts, we changed this. And that's exactly what it's supposed to look like. We're accepting anything, comma space, so that looks good. Scrolling down. This is the next configuration change that we made, where we're looking for identity 3, which is what was the next thing we were supposed to do. Scrolling down. We also changed this, OpenStack multi-domain support equals true, so we modified that. I'm freaking out a little bit because I'm wondering if that true needs to have quotes around it or if it's just a regular true. Nope, it's just true the way we have it. We entered it correctly. Let's keep going down. Horizon config. Nope, we didn't change any of this stuff. We changed this cache. So we changed the cache. So we changed. I wasn't showing anybody in this stuff. So we changed the default role. We're here. This is the caches. So we pointed to the memcache service. So cache is the default backend. The host name, in our case, is controller 1. That's the port for it. So we're looking pretty cool on that. Come back here, guys. Oh, yep, that's looking lovely. Controller 1. We commented all that out. I guess I have some email that we can configure here. We'll have to look at later on. That's not really an issue right now. That's the URL for Keystone. So communicate. We're not doing web SSO. Let's keep going. We're not doing SSL, no verify. We haven't selected a path to the cert. I guess we're going to use this when we turn on SSL later on. More Keystone stuff. This is all the stuff that we set for false because this is layer 3 networking. So OpenStack Neutron Network, we turn that all off. Everything is false, false, false. IPv6, we left it because that was new. Here's an error. Enabled load balancing. Enabled load balancing needs to be set to false. So, in fact, yeah, let's set this to false. So let's open up this file and set that to false. Let's see if we can catch anything else that's in here. It's crazy. Those are images. Let's see. There goes that time zone that we chose to not set. Time zone universal teeth. That's just whack. That shouldn't be the time zone on the server. Anyway, we'll suck that up for now. Keep going. Trove. That was a login. It ends. The file ends with I thought it ends with logging. It's not. Deprecation notice. Tell us what's deprecated. All right. So we have to go back into this. I know it's probably easy for me to do the search against it, but I'll just scroll down until we get to it. There we go. So go to insert. And we need to set enable load balance to false, because that would cause us problem if we left it like that. All right. Now we have none of the layer 3. Now we have none of the layer 3 stuff. I'm hoping IPv6 isn't layer 3. I should think that every Linux device would have IPv6 on it by default. At least if it's cloud specific, even though people aren't really using it anymore. I should say using it yet. Let's escape that. All right, so I think we're good. We checked through all the settings that we had in here. All right, everything else looks legit in here. Legit, legit. Hold on a second. I gotta tell these poor trick-or-treaters we're not doing Halloween. My wife didn't put a sign up. Give me a second. I apologize for the delay. We put a sign up. All right. So our final step is to go and to enable the HTTP service. Let's hope that this works. Fingers crossed. Ugh.
Let's see.
Yeah, we're going to see if this works. Ooh, no errors. That's a good thing. And no errors. So, okay, that looks good. All right. So let's go to our Trello session here. I shot the link to get to Trello. Install Horizon. I should have just the Trello link in here. Let's go. It's all right. I think I may have put it in our dashboard already. The link to the Trello. I think I did. Chat. There we go. So we have the credentials. It's not going to let me do it unless I sign in. So we could still say we did these things. So we checked our credentials. We followed the installation guide. We now have these things to do with the SL. We configured the Horizon components. We didn't install the SSL cert for certbot yet, but we can install that validation is done correctly. So let's see if we have to do this, figure out that validation is done. So let's go back to our browser. I don't think that's where I want it to be. It's not where I want it to be. There we go. All right, so now we're going to see if this works, right, by using the browser and see what happens. So this is the link, the HTTP controller dashboard. It's not going to be the case for us. It's going to be a little bit different. I believe our URL to this is going to be controller1 dashboard. So let's see. I think it will look like this. Paste. Stack CFL.org. Site can't be reached. Hold on a second. Let's see what's going on here. OpenStack CFL. Oh, I know what the problem is. It's never going to reach it. I put the domain name in wrong. Duh. It will never get there. It has to look like this. That's what the fully qualified domain name looks like. And fingers crossed. Still nothing. DNS could not be found. So let us do something. I'm just trying to look at this. The name is for this guy. No, loop back. No. Okay. Controller 1. Let's see. Oh, not found. All right, so that's a good sign. We got to the Apache services running on our box, but our dashboard isn't coming up. So, you know what I think the problem is? I think we may need to start and stop the service. I think we need to do that. That may be... You there?
Yes. Let me check.
Sounds like you're having a fight with the microphone, Michael. You sounded like I did earlier.
Check if the port is open in netstat or
Do you want me to run a netstat?
yes, it is still empty.
In fact, you know what? I'll let you drive. If you want to connect in, let's see, I should be able to let you drive. Not connected to audio. Oh man, if you connect in as, if you connect in and install the client, then what I can do is I can give you control, and you could type directly rather than tell me, which would probably be a lot faster.
So do I generate
No. I'm just going to give you access to my screen.
Oh, okay.
I want to let you control. I'm going to let you remote control my screen, and you'll be typing on through my computer.
Oh, okay. That's good. That's good.
So just install the client, and we'll do it that way. And that way, you won't have to do anything else except for type. In the meantime, I restarted the HTTPD service, and I restarted the Memcached service. Let's see if that did anything while you're installing the client. Okay, so we got the server. Let's see if we can bring up controller 1. Controller 1 dot OpenStack. You know what I think the issue is? I think I'm using the wrong. I think I am using the wrong URL. I think we created a subdomain called CC Cloud. Fingers crossed. I have like a billion windows open, billion browser windows open. What time is it now? 8:33. No, I'm good. Boom, we did it. So we know this is working. And now, let's say dashboard. Please, Papa needs a brand new bag. Is it? Oh, we did it! Oh, woo! Thank you, Michael. It is.
You know, you can enter by your IP address too. Let me check. Let me get the IP address.
So we did it.
We did it.
Yes, we did it. Now, this domain shouldn't be coming up in here. I don't know why I'm getting a domain thing that's coming up in here. It's really odd. So I'm gonna move that because it shouldn't query me for a domain. But we know we have it up and running correctly.
Okay, the IP address is resolved too. So we should modify the allow host only for the subdomain or domains that you want to enable for the public, you know.
All right. So
Right. You can. Okay. This is a thing that needs to be addressed for the future, not right now.
okay.
Okay. So
All right.
it might be important. Okay. Well,
So we.
I
I don't think so. No, both of these are required. So it needs a password and it needs a domain. So both of those have to be filled out. To do those things, we have to create, we're going to have to create a role for it. User defaults. I'm going to end it, Michael. I'm gonna bounce for tonight. Let's get back on tomorrow and see if we can figure out what we should do some research. Because now I got to research it. I think I'm going to have to go through the CLI, and I'm not sure why CLI isn't taking it. But I think in the CLI I'm going to have to create a project. So I'm going to have to go through the CLI and create that initial user, and then come in and log in later on with it. But we know the dashboard is at least up. So I'll end it for tonight, and then what we'll do is we'll continue later. So does that sound like a plan?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right.
Good. At least for today, we got and that's good.
Yeah, we did pretty good. If you look at the trail that we had for the day, the only thing we didn't set up was the SSL for it. So the only thing that's really left is the SSL, but I don't want to set the SSL up until we can log in, because that way
that's pretty straightforward. You only need to run Startbot and if like to put the domains and that's all. It's really easy.
Okay, so let's do it tomorrow. So tomorrow let's jump on. I don't know if you're available at 7, so tomorrow we can jump on. I'll set the same time up, and we'll jump on to do certbot and then to log into the actual instance and check it out. And I'll see between now and then if I can find the admin password. Cool?
Okay. Yeah.
All right, Michael. Thanks, man. I appreciate you joining. Any suggestions? Just throw them up on Slack, and let's make it happen.
Okay.
All right, man. I'll talk to you later. Have a great night.